Every year there are guys that get overlooked because your league mates see the big names and then make silly reasons to avoid the pick that actually makes sense for the more exciting player that everyone knows. That leaves guys that as a result fall lower than they should. That's where we're going to be buying the dip, that discount, and watching that player in your lineup outscore all those high pedigree players that flew off the board way earlier than they deserved. Here are the 6 guys I'll be drafting in every league that I can while the rest of your league mates pass on them. Starting with my go-to early round running back that I am begging you to draft, Chase Brown. Chase Brown is going to be the guy on a projected top 10 offense according to the implied team totals. He has an ADP of running back 12, but I'm feeling good walking away from the draft with Brown as my RB1 for the rest of the season. Zach Moss was the concern for competition early last season, but Brown was the more explosive and efficient back when they were together. Then, week 8, Moss went down with a season-ending injury. After that injury, week 8, Brown averaged 20.6 PPR points per game and was the RB3 in that stretch. He had 18.9 rushing attempts per game, which was 6th in the league, and 5.5 targets per game, which was 3rd among all running backs. Every time they run the ball, it's him. And he gets a ton of receiving usage with this pass-heavy offense. I mean, if your league mate says, like, oh, this team passes the ball every play, led the NFL in passing percentage last year, that didn't stop Brown from getting the 6th most rushing attempts per game in that stretch where he started. When they threw the ball, Brown's 12.5% target share was also 6th among running backs. That target share and the most pass-heavy offense in the league in itself would be reason to draft this guy as a top running back. This year, I totally understand if there's a fallback for Brown, if they brought in guys to help take more of the load in the run game, but they added no one who will touch Brown's volume. They released Zach Moss, drafted 6th-round pick Taj Brooks, and signed Samaje Perine. So no one's worried about 30-year-old Perine taking touches away. I don't see the downside here. If Brown was the RB3 last year and this team led the NFL in passing attempts, the possibility that this team leans away from the run game can't happen. So if that's the floor guarantee for Chase Brown, there's not a single feeling of worry in me, and I'm confidently drafting Brown ahead of ADP. 86% of the snaps is easily repeatable, and I can even see his touchdowns go up from 0.75 that they were last year. Bengals offensive coordinator Dan Pitcher called Chase Brown a focal point when talking to reporters. Give me all the Chase Brown I can get while your league mates draft Kieran Williams instead. You need to draft Omarion Hampton. He gets drafted as the running back 17 off the board. We already know this Chargers team wants to run the ball. They were top 10 in rushing attempts per game last year. They brought in Najee Harris and they spent the 1st-round pick on Hampton. Najee's already hurt, and we don't know when he's going to return. Hampton's the one in there getting the reps. Huge potential there with the talent that he has, 1st-round pick there. And the volume was the only question mark. But now that he's the guy running with the starters in camp, we shouldn't be worried about him earning that role. Ashton Jeanty kind of stole a spotlight at running back out of this class. And your league mates are going to look to guys like Kamara and Mixon instead of Hampton in this range. They had 2 of the best tackles in the league. Now, I know Rashawn Slater just got hurt, but that doesn't mean that they're not going to keep utilizing these outside zone runs and take advantage of Amarion's athleticism here. The receiving skill set he showed in college allows him to be a 3-down back for him. He's got elite athleticism, round 1 draft capital, one of the best offensive lines in the league, solid offense, good quarterback, very, very run-heavy team. The back to emerge and even get the bulk of the work is going to smash in fantasy, and Hampton is A, more talented than Najee, who only signed a 1-year contract, and B, he's building all the chemistry with the team right now in camp. The organizations come out and praise his talent, and they're excited about him. He may have a slow start out of the gate when he gets rolling in the NFL, as rookies do, but late in the season, fantasy playoffs, I wouldn't be surprised if he's top 5 in fantasy points and wins leagues for you. This guy is the definition of printing money in fantasy. Drafting him as your RB2 sets you up for immediate success. First wide receiver on the list, Tet McMillan. What a prospect. 8th overall by the Panthers. He's a player where it isn't a question of if he'll break out, it's when. This landing spot, he's going to be the guy this season in fantasy for you. The offense is emerging. Coaching staff coming in. Bryce Young looks to be at least sufficient quarterback play for him. Carolina has some other young receivers, but none have clicked in the past few seasons, and certainly none had the draft capital that McMillan brings in. Chuba Hubbard came onto the scene last season late. This offense is going to be balanced. We don't need to worry about McMillan having a quarterback that can't give him the ball. In the second half of the season last year, Young threw for 226 yards a game with worse weapons than he has this year. McMillan played all the snaps with this team in the first preseason game, drew a massive 66% target share when he was on the field. Young is clearly looking for McMillan, and if this offense takes another step forward, is even above average, McMillan is going to be the guy in this offense, and will outperform his ADP of wide receiver 28 by a mile. And at that price, the investment's worth the potential he has to blow up. Just like with Hampton, it may take him a few weeks, but rookies with this talent come to life soon enough. Like Justin Jefferson's rookie year, where he did nothing in the first 3 games, and then all of a sudden wins fantasy leagues for you. This guy's going to print you money as you ride his production, in the fantasy playoffs, please draft him. There's no risk here taking him as your wide receiver 3 or 4. Keon Coleman is getting drafted as the wide receiver 49 right now. That is way too low. He's supposed to take a little bit as a rookie after drafting him early in the second round of the NFL draft. So it's not a negative sign that he didn't have a big year, but very talented. He's had a great camp. He's developing with Josh Allen. Allen said that they are, quote, seeing a lot of growth in his game and just the nuance of playing the receiver position, doing the things that we're asking him to do. He's taking it in stride right now, and he's having a really good camp. There's no clear number 1 in Buffalo right now. Shakir's going to play the slot. They added Josh Palmer over the offseason. I mean, you can go with Josh Palmer late in drafts as well because there's going to be a wide receiver in Buffalo that's viable in fantasy when you have Josh Allen as your quarterback. But he's always been more of a complementary piece. Keon has the opening to emerge as Allen's go-to option in the passing game. You could take him as one of the last picks in your draft right now. At this price, we're chasing upside. We don't want guys who, just be fine every week and have nowhere to grow, such as Josh Downs in this range. That's why I prefer Keon to Palmer here, is I could easily see Keon taking that huge second-year jump and giving Allen a true playmaker at wide receiver that he hasn't had since Stephon Diggs. I'm not seeing Keon's going to be Stephon Diggs, but they're missing that X receiver slot, and Keon Coleman has the talent to make that jump. No downside to taking him this late. Snag Coleman in every draft you can. TreVeyon Henderson could be big. It seems like drafters are realizing that right now. He's being drafted as the RB23. He was an early second-round pick in the draft. His elite athleticism to be a difference maker on this team day one. I mean, the first time he touched a football in the NFL, he returned a kickoff for a 100-yard touchdown in the preseason. He has the 3-down skill set and size. I don't think the volume at the start of the season is going to be where it's going to finish, though. Ramondre will still get work, but he only got so much last year because the Patriots couldn't turn to anyone else. He had fumbling issues. The Patriots are just trying to run the ball as much as possible, and so they go out and take Henderson early second round. I'm a big believer in the Patriots offense taking the next step. They invested significant capital into their offense line through free agents and 4th overall pick, Will Campbell, like we talked about in the last episode. May should continue to grow, and this team could be very good this year. Not just competent and run heavy, but very underrated and run heavy. That makes a big difference in the offense. Everyone would love to have the Patriots starting running back. That's not a question. The question here is just that who's going to be the one to emerge, or is it just going to be equal and they share it all season long? Now, I'm betting on the sheer talent here, the draft investment. TreVeyon Henderson is going to be a starting running back soon enough, and this team is going to make a difference all year. But especially when it matters late season, he's going to ramp up. He's going to make it hard for the Patriots to take him off the field. He's NFL ready, and he gets a situation that he's going to end up earning that volume that will pay off for you in fantasy. Dallas Goedert has an ADP of tight end 14 right now, and that is insane to me. Last year, the Eagles didn't throw the ball anywhere close to where they have in prior seasons. Yes, they're going to throw the ball more this season, even if Saquon is just as efficient. They aren't going to rely on Saquon to be the entire offense again this year and risk injuries, and he's aging. Yes, he's still going to be that guy, that good, but they're not going to want to do that throughout the entire season. They're going to have to use his weapons in the passing game that they've invested into, since they aren't going to be steamrolling teams and running a clock out in every fourth quarter of every game they play like they did last year. Goddard has finished as a tight end 1 in fantasy points per game in every season since 2019. Yes, that includes even last year when there was such a limited passing volume in this offense, and Goddard dealt with multiple injuries throughout the entire year. In the games when he was healthy, he produced 11.8 PPR points per game, which would have equaled the tight end 8 in fantasy points per game last year. The passing offense is so concentrated between A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, and Goddard that even with low volume, he's going to succeed given the 20.2% target share he had in his full games. This team will be one of the best offenses in the NFL, projected to increase their passing volume. So I'm confident, once again this year, he's going to finish as tight end 1. And he's being drafted outside the top 12 right now. You can't find many guarantees at tight end outside the top 3 this year. So take advantage of this value so you don't have to invest an early round pick in one of the elite options or just guess at who might just be good enough in the mid rounds. Wait and watch your league mates reach for walking red flags like Mark Andrews while you grab high upside running backs and receivers in that range and get a tight end 1 at pick 130. Please, please, please draft these players. These 6 players aren't going to be getting your league mates all excited, but that's when you swoop in, get a value on these guys who all have a legit shot at becoming genuine league winners this year. They're going to make you a ton of money as they outperform their ADPs and hit when it matters, especially in the fantasy playoffs. Do not be afraid to target these 6 guys ahead of their ADP. It's going to do it for this one. See ya.